right, so our special guest tonight is Angie P. She is a purpose life coach, motivational speaker, and a woman who literally got a second chance at life. In May 2020, she died and was brought back to life. That moment changed everything for her. She realized God wasn't done with her yet. She was still there for a reason. She has battled through depression, anxiety, addiction, and moments where she didn't think she'd make it. But through faith, prayer, and gratitude, she learned that her pain had a purpose. Today, she uses her story to help others find hope, healing, and alignment with their God given calling. She wants listeners to know that no matter how dark it gets, there's always light, and sometimes it takes losing everything to find who you really are. So, without further ado, let us welcome our long overweight. We was waiting on her for so long, overdue, Angie P.
Hi. Well, thank you so much
Hi.
for having me here and to be able to share my story with everyone. It's definitely a life changing and to be able to share what God has done in my life and obviously for everyone because God loves us, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I think
Amen.
it's sounding very low. Not sure if it's on my end.
Volume.
It's on my end.
Can I
I
can hear
don't
you
know.
guys well.
Yeah, she can hear
Okay.
us well.
She
Okay,
could hear us, but we're not hear. I'm not hearing her too well, unless it's on mine.
okay.
Angie.
Can you hear
Yeah,
me well, Andy?
yes, I'm hearing you well, Angie.
Okay.
So
Music.
let me just take the first question. Angie,
Yeah.
if you had to define your life, and in that moment you could make a statement that actually tells people about the profound effect that you had to go through to take you to where you are now, how would you summarize it?
I would summarize it as it's been a journey. I mean,
Yeah,
it takes a lot, obviously, to be how we are before battling with our own demons, right? If we want to say that, like our depression, our bad moments and stuff. I would say prayer definitely comes into play and just having that hope and that faith that it's going to be okay. Like
hmm
no matter what, we have to push through. I mean, that's one of the things I always say. Like no matter what, we have to push through, even if we don't want to, because we cannot stay at the end in the bottom, right? So the profound moment was that just understanding what had God done for me, and, and like I said, I'm like just coming out of that waking up again, seeing everything, like the doctors, the EMT waking me up, and I'm like, oh my God, what is happening? And the crazy thing is, like, it was self-inflicted. Like, I wanted to die. I was so much in that dark place
hmm
that I didn't have hope. I didn't have nothing. And just coming out, then it's a journey of like finding, well, why am I here? God,
Yeah.
why did you bring me back? And the shame and the guilt and all that. So it is a process
hmm
to try to come out of that. But again, with God, everything is possible.
Yeah, certainly it is. Angie, could you tell us what that emotional struggle was like? Can you describe how it felt so that you simply did not feel as though you deserved to live again, but after coming out of that crazy experience, for want of a better word, that emotional state has changed and you saw purpose instead of defeat.
Mhm. Well, at first, it wasn't like that because
Uh,
again, it's not like a one, two, three. I'm
yeah,
healed. I'm holy. No, like
yeah,
again, at the end of the day, I had to go through the walk, and I had to deal with the shame because now I'm living with everyone knowing what I did,
yeah.
and now I have to live with myself trying to get out of that and seek help and continue to pray. But I would say the shame, the sadness, the misery, the depression, all of that I was able to overcome
hmm
with prayer, meditation, getting into groups, doing some reading on my own, just trying to understand what's going on in the mind and then what's going on in the heart, and also looking at it in a spiritual way because I truly believe that our depression, like we're in a spiritual warfare, right? We
Yes,
we know this, right?
yes.
And and the enemy attacks, especially when we're the most vulnerable. So that vulnerable state he feeds off of that to intensify. Because I never had these thoughts in my mind
Hmm.
that I wanted to end it all, but it got to that point
Yeah.
because of constant, negativity or constant regret or constant the day to day and the stress, right? That it just gets you to that point. But then knowing that there is light, that there is that other side, that gratefulness that I felt and that love and forgiveness from God. Like I felt it. And at the end, I was like, but why did you save me? He could have saved anyone,
Yeah.
but he chose to save me. So that love that
Yes.
he hugs us,
Yeah.
that was when I felt that. I was like, I started crying and I'm like, I don't even know what I'm feeling, all these feelings.
Ah.
It was just direct, but understanding it is the love of God that He has for us. Like He does not want us to perish.
Yeah.
He gives us that chance to bring us back. Because let me tell you something, how I was living before, I know exactly where I was gonna go.
Hmm.
You know
Wow.
what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I think that He, by pulling me from that, is that second chance. That and I felt it in my spirit that He said, "It is not your time." So now I'm
Mm.
like, okay, why? Like, why do you love me so much? I don't deserve it. And
Yeah.
that is one thing also that people, and I include myself, we struggle sometimes that we're like, we're so bad, we don't deserve that. Right?
Yes.
And that right there is a shameful feeling,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
the love over surpass that. So that's a
Oh,
beautiful thing. Yeah.
yeah. Wonderful. Beautiful. Okay, Gabriella, it's your turn.
I love how she was honest, like really, really
And
honest and
vulnerable.
open.
Yes.
Because I mean, a lot of persons looking back at their life and where they came from, they wouldn't say, "Yeah, I know I was going," but I should actually identify and say, "Yes, I know I was going on the wrong path, but I was doing it." But no, now that you found Christ and you found that love that surpasses all, I'm really excited and I'm really grateful that you are here to share that story with us. But can you tell us what surrender felt like for you emotionally and even spiritually, having to let go of everything and let God be in control?
It took a while. I mean, that feeling of just attachment,
Yeah.
right? Of attachment of who I was before or what I was doing before. That right there could be the sadness because I'm like I was attached to that and I had an
Yes.
identity to that life.
Yeah.
But then once we're born again and once we know what God has done for us, then it's a complete transformation. I mean that's what He says, right? It's a transformation that sometimes I can't even put it in words because I look at myself and I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe like I did that. Or even like now when someone asks me to pray for them or someone needs that word of encouragement or somebody's going through what I've gone through and I'm like, girl, don't worry, you know, you got this. This is just a phase. Like trying to be that motivational
Yeah.
thing. I look at myself and I'm like, oh my God, this was not me back in the day. Like I could not have done this if I didn't have like the tools and God in my life to do it. So that feeling is now it feels good. Once because I know I'm being of service to others, which before I was super selfish. I was all about me and this. But in understanding that how God loves us, we have to love others too. That gives that happy feeling, like that purposeful feeling. Like I know that I'm here to help other people.
Yeah.
You know.
Awesome. And in your journey of healing and coming out of all those situations, what was the first thing you did in the first step that you took towards healing?
Healing, I would say my number one that I always mention is the awareness. Like I had to have awareness of there is a problem, right? Because we cannot fix a problem that we don't even know that it's a problem. And sometimes this is just how we are, right? And, oh, I'm just like this. And we identify to that, but understanding and that inner voice of this is not okay. I'm not happy. I could do better. Like listening to those and then taking those steps. My second step would be like loving myself. Again, how God loves me, how God sees me. I don't identify to that as I was before. Now I have to change it. So
Yeah.
what steps am I changing. So maybe I don't go out to the clubs like I used to. That's just not my thing anymore.
Yeah.
Or just trying to do something different because obviously doing the same thing was giving the same result back then. So what can
Mm,
we do different now that is
yeah.
going to give a different result in our lives?
Yeah.
So that, another step I would take, and I mention this all the time, is gratitude, right?
Yeah.
Having that
Yeah.
gratitude heart. I wake up in the morning and I put this like as a little habit every day. As I put my feet on the ground, I will say, "Thank you, Jesus, because I have another day." Like my plan
Yes.
was to go to sleep and never
Yes.
wake up. So just by me having another day, that's a blessing. So I say thank you for everything. Thank you because, I have friends, I have a family, I'm healthy. One time I was like, well, thank you because I have toilet paper.
Mm,
During COVID, there was people that didn't have toilet paper, but I'm grateful that I have toilet paper, right? Like just those little things. And that right there changes the mood and the mindset. Like you cannot feel depression if you have a grateful heart. It's one counters the other,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
And then my last one is nurturing positivity. So understanding that I was always in that negative state, that's all I saw. That's everything that was in my mind. So now I see, well, what's the flip side of that? Because if God is light and I was in the darkness, so what is the other side?
Mm,
So let's say I was looking for a new job and I'm like, oh, I don't think, again, the thoughts, I don't think I'm gonna get it, you know. So why don't I change that and say, well, what happens if I do get it?
yeah.
Think the positive. Like, what is the positive side of things? Like, we are always accustomed to think the worst case scenario of everything, right? Our mind just go the worst case, but then training and having that awareness. Well, I'm having these thoughts, these negative thoughts. What's the positive side of that? So that helped me a lot. So now I see things totally different because I try to keep that mindset of seeing the good side in things. So yeah,
Wow.
so awareness, loving yourself, gratitude, and positivity.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that with us. Um, for persons who may feel stuck in coming out of their situations, they might say, why me, why God chose me, or you said why me, you reverse that to what is God showing me. How could you help persons who may be stuck in that cycle of why me and not really transition into what is my purpose, or what is God, why did God save me through this process? What would you tell them, or what would be your encouragement to them who feel stuck in that state?
Well, I say this all the time. There is purpose in everyone, right? And we have our different gifts and talents, and talents that God gives us, right? And once we start developing those and working it for good, that becomes like our purpose. And once we kind of understand what it is and we walk in purpose, we feel contentment. We know that we're doing the right thing, things that are making us happy, things that are coming effortlessly, right? So there's this quote from Mark Twain that I love. It says, there's two most important days of someone's life. So it's the day that they're born and the day that they know why they're born.
Yeah.
Right? So once you sit with yourself and you get that revelation that you are here for a purpose, that God anointed you and appointed you for something, that there's something in you that the world needs, your family needs, your friend needs, your community needs, and there's someone that needs your prayer, that needs something from you. So when you're in obedience with God and like walking, okay, God, what is it that I need to do? How can I be a blessing to other people? That is, and again, using what God has given you. Like even you guys right now with this platform, like you're voicing and you're helping people. That is true purpose in you. So imagine if you wouldn't do that. And you're like, no, I don't want to do that. You're ripping people from listening to what you have to say. So
Yeah.
I always say that like there is something in you. Don't let the enemy rip that or take it away from you.
Mm,
Ask God because that is what we're here for, is to make a difference in the world, right? To be light, to be love. That's what he tells us. It's in the Bible, right? We're supposed to be salt and light in the world
that's
and
right.
show that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Angie, you are very inspirational. Thank you so much. Gabriella, I think you have some reading to do. Grenadine S. Woods. We can put up her. Yeah, there it is.
She says, "Good night, all. The thief came to steal, kill, and destroy, but Jesus came that we might have life and have it more abundantly. We have hope in Jesus. All is not lost. He fully understands everything that we go through. We are not alone. God is with us every step of the way.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Always."
Always. Never fail. He never
Hmm.
forsakes us, never leaves us. Wow. So, Angie, I want to play a video, one of your videos actually. I think we had two downloaded. But before I do that, there's a question in the back of my mind that I'm thinking about. And some people think that their life has no purpose, no reasoning, no meaning because of some negative experience or because of where they were brought up, their environment, and a number of things can contribute to that. But for you, what would you say to them? Your byline, one of your bywords is still here for a reason. What does that mean to you today, now, in this present moment?
Well, as I mentioned before, again, just finding that purpose.
Yeah.
Again, understanding
Mm-hmm.
that you are here. Because once God is done with you, you're done.
Yeah.
But as you're still here, as you still have breath in your lungs, there is something that you have to do. And sometimes we don't know what it is. We just don't know. But
Yeah.
God reveals that little by little. And the more that we are walking with Him and the more that we have that connection, it gets revealed. Like sometimes I say, okay, I think I had to be here in this moment, in this time, because of something that happened. And I would never be in this position, but because I was obedient,
Yeah.
then I will put myself those. So for those people, I would say, like, there is just understanding that there is purpose
Mm-hmm.
in your life.
Yeah.
There is.
Yeah.
And don't ever think that there's not, because when you think that there's not, that's when the enemy gets fed, right?
Wow.
So now just walking into that. What is it that makes you happy? That's another thing. What is making a difference in their life? So you're here for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a beautiful thing to discover what reason that is.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
it's always a good thing. It's always a good thing. It's something that you have to, we might not see it in the moment, or because of the circumstances or whatever, past negative experience that someone had or that I had. But once we understand that even those negative moments or circumstances, like God uses that to steer us
Mm.
more into where we need to be. Like
Yeah.
He says, He uses all things, right, for good. Not
Yes.
just one thing, not just the good things. He uses all things, including the bad, because
Yeah.
that's what molds us and gets us stronger to where we need to go and to understanding why are
Right.
we here.
Yeah. Yeah. Gabriela, I see that connection to what you said earlier before Angie came on in regards to purpose or
Purpose.
keep aligning that. Thank you so much, Angie. So now we're gonna have the video from Dex, and then we're gonna get comments from Angie after.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you actually know what your purpose is? Like why God put you here? Eh? The truth is, more than 75% of people in the world are just existing, not really living. They're just doing about their business. And girl, that breaks my heart. Trust me, it does. You know why? Because we are meant for more. You are meant for more. Your purpose isn't just something that you chase, something that you're going for. It's already in you. Like it's inside of you. God has put that inside of you. And it show up in the ways that you love, the way that you battle your struggles, the way that you survive, and that fire in you that you say, I've had enough and I'm gonna push through no matter what. So if you feel stuck, it's not because you're lost or whatever. It's because you're being called for higher things. You're 2.0. So if you think that you are tired of your everyday life and you are wanting to find your purpose, text I'm ready. Because guess what? We're ready to be our 2.0.
uh, what was the inspiration behind that, Angie? I love it. Purpose. It's so powerful.
It is. It is. No, when I was doing research and I found that study, it broke my heart because there is that amount of people, 75% of people. And I
Yeah.
actually kind of did a test and I went around my job and I asked my coworkers and I asked my friend and I'm like, three questions. I'm like, do you know what I first said, what is your definition of purpose, of life purpose? And they will give me their explanation. The second question following to that is like, do you think that you're living in your purpose?
Yeah.
And most of them said no. So
Wow.
then I was like, oh my God, that's what breaks my heart. I'm like, do you really think that you just here to go to work, wake up, pay bills, be in a stressful relationship, being in a stressful like that's not living. Like
Yeah.
God did not put us here for to do that. So it's like I said, it's in us that we have to fire that up. I truly believe, and this is because I know because I was in that state
Yes.
of everything bad.
Mm-hmm.
That is not living. God did not intend for us to do that. So it's
Mm-hmm.
coming out of that and then finding the purpose. Like I said, the 2.0, your best version of yourself, where you can vibrate and show what God has put in you to use that for good for
Yeah.
others.
Yeah.
That
Wow.
is the
Thank you so much. That's clear. That's concise.
yeah.
Gabriella?
Yes, because I saw a video this week concerning what she just said in terms of living and existing. And a lot of persons have the mindset that they just here to pay bills and go through life. And it's really interesting. And it's really sad too because persons have not really connected with what their purpose really is. And so persons just really feel like they're just existing. So I really hope that your testimony really helps persons to see that there's more to life. When it comes to alignments, could you tell us a little bit about what your alignment to your God given calling really is about, and how did you find your alignment in that purpose?
Well, the alignment, so the align is kind of what I had mentioned before, kind of my little acronym. So A for awareness, L for loving yourself, G for gratitude and growth, and then N for nurturing positivity. So those, if you and obviously adding into that the prayer, meditation works a lot because it takes us out of our circumstances in our day to day and just puts us in our present moment. Like I'm feeling like this. Again, acknowledge how you're feeling, but then getting out of that. Like it's okay, to feel that way because there are feelings, but the problem is not staying there. Once you're there, it's like you're breaking off course of what you're intended to go because you cannot walk in light when you're pissed off or you're just mad at the world and you don't even want to talk to nobody. Like that's not how it is. But if
Yeah.
God is calling you to do something and you over here worrying about what people did to you, then you're not walking there.
Yeah.
So the alignment is getting into scripture also. You're just getting where you want to be, where you need to be, that it gets you closer to God, closer to feeling better, closer to success. I know a lot of things just like, and success is not only monetary. It's
Yeah.
success could be like, I want to do something today, setting goals and doing that, like walking towards something. And that also makes life worth living. Like I have this goal that I want to do. I'm walking towards that. Always having that sense of doing better for yourself, not just stagnant. So whatever the alignment is always to get closer to God. But whatever we're doing, it has to align to what He has called us to do, to where He wants us to go, to impact the people that we need to impact, and obviously change the lives. One person at a time, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot, but one person at a time to do those things that we're called to do.
Wow.
That's yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And were there a time where you would have came out, God took you out, you realized that you have purpose, God called you for something higher. Were there any points in life where you would have doubted what your purpose was, or any time that you felt like you were slipping back into that moment, of doubt and going through those depressive moments, did you ever slip back, or was it just smooth sailing afterwards when you give up?
Girl, this is no, this is not a smooth sailing. Absolutely not. This is a
Yes.
constant rolling back
Yes.
because one, the enemy wants us to go back,
Exactly. Yeah.
and two, and like we even those doubts, those negative thinking, those negative thoughts. I can stop. Like God has been telling me to do, let's say this, tell my testimony for a while now. And I would say, no, I'm not ready. This is
Hmm.
my story. I don't want to tell no one that this is personal and I'm
Yeah.
feeling shameful because how is people going to see me differently? All of that comes from the enemy. Again, that the feeling of shame,
Yeah.
the feeling of doubt, of
Hmm.
fear,
Yeah.
Yeah.
all that is the enemy that doesn't want you to do what God has called you to do. And it's gotten to the point that I feel like God is screaming at me.
Hmm.
Because I don't know about you guys, but I'm the type of person that I pray for something and I kind of see like a confirmation or something, and then I'm like, maybe that's me, or maybe that's just coincidence. I'm like, God, I need one more sign.
Yeah.
One more
Not alone.
sign.
You're not alone at all.
You're like
Give me
Gideon.
one more. Yes, give me one more sign to make sure that it's you. And even sometimes when he does give me the sign, I'm still hesitant. You
Wow.
know, there was this one time, and that comes with obedience. And there was this one time I'll share with you guys that after this, I really change the way that I'm like, okay, if this is God talking, I have to do it kind of thing. And forget of my doubts, forget my fears. But there was this I was at church and there was this one girl that she everybody was like praying for each other. And again, I was at the time that I'm like I was shy. I didn't want to pray for nobody. But then the pastor tells me, oh, just pray for her. And she was like a young girl, she had a baby. So I'm like, okay, I guess. And I'm just talking to her and I pray for her a little bit. And then afterwards, she tells me, she's like, oh my God, thank you so much for praying for me. Like, I feel better. I know God is really talking. And she said that she was depressed. She had just had a fight with her boyfriend. And if she wouldn't have made it to church that night, she doesn't even know where she was end up. She's like, I'm so out of it that I probably just drive my car off the bridge with my kid. And I was like, oh my God.
Wow.
And again, being in that experience, I was like, oh my God. So imagine had I said, no, I don't want to pray because I'm too shy, and just not heard what she said, or probably not fed what God had told me to tell her to get her to that state where she's like, I feel better. I hear God. And let me tell you that she kept coming back to church. And now she's in the church. And now we have coffee and everything. So it's like, even that change, and that's going back to like I said before with the alignment and the purpose. It's like if God is telling you to do something and you know that it's from Him,
Yeah.
you gotta tell the enemy, step aside because I'm gonna be obedient,
Amen.
right?
Amen. Yep.
But yeah, but it is that constant because He doesn't want you to walk in faith, to walk in God, and to do what you need to do. Yeah.
Wow.
Thanks for being so open. Because persons would have been, nah, that's hanging too perfect. This life hanging too perfect. And I know no being vulnerable helps persons to really understand that no, I did struggle and I did have struggles going forward, but it's not impossible. If you could speak to the version of yourself before May 2020, what would you tell her?
And what, I'm sorry?
If you could speak to the version of you before May 2020, what would you tell her?
Oh my God, that is really funny. I would tell myself, get it together. Like
Mm.
my mom, I'm telling you, she's the sweetest, and she's always praying. She always tells me, I've been praying for you for 15 years for you to, leave that lifestyle, leave the drinking, leave the clubbing, and come into Christ. And I would tell her myself back then, listen to your mom. Like I feel that I would have avoided all of that had I listened and not be so stubborn.
Yeah,
But now I understand that I had to go through all of that to
Yeah.
be where I am now. So
Yeah.
I don't see it now as a negative. Again, I acknowledge what happened. Like I understand it. Do I
yeah,
want it to be I don't know. But now that's like my pushing rock. And one of the things that I always look back is that I say, if God pulled me from that, I know that He can pull me from anything else. So
Yeah.
my faith is getting stronger because of I seen like all the stuff that He has done for me, starting from May to here. Because
Mm,
back then it was just I was just living in grace. Thank God
mm.
that He loved me because you know, yes.
It could have been
So
worse. Yeah.
yeah.
Wonderful. Okay. So we're gonna give Angie a little breather, and we're gonna do the thought of the week one more time again, and remind folks that this is Breaking Out of Depression, the episode entitled "The Ride of Hope and Resilience" with Angie P. Our thought of the week: the best emotion is not love in itself, but the true desire to express that love no matter what it takes. And that's a huge calling, it's a high calling, but it's godlike in its nature. The best emotion is not love in itself, but the true desire to express that love no matter what it takes. Okay, wonderful. So, Angie, you work with people and you help folks, you do some coaching and stuff. What is one of the main challenges that people have with getting out of depression and taking that first step towards healing and really sticking to the task despite the challenges that they are currently going through or may face in the future?
One of the biggest challenge is staying in the negativity. Like
Mm,
I know we talk about the negative vibes and all that, but that is a real thing and it's a constant in the mind. Like you have to start in your mind because once you start thinking and overthinking the negative thoughts or the negative situation, it just keeps you stuck. And this is science. Like the once you live in that fight or flight mode and always constantly stressed and
mhm.
depressed and thinking and rethinking those negative thoughts, you're producing cortisol, which is going to keep you in that fight or flight, stressed
Yeah,
out mode all the time.
yeah.
So the only way to come out of that is, again, this is the science, producing the serotonin, the dopamine, all these feel good hormones in order to get you out of that funk. So I always say, try to do something and it could be a little thing at a time, something that would take you away from those thoughts, from just overthinking those thoughts. It could be reading a book, it could be going for a walk, it can just be watching a good movie, like whatever it is that makes you feel good for the moment. So that way you're not rethinking and reliving the depression, like, oh my God, I don't have money. Oh my God, I just had a fight with my boyfriend. Oh my God, I have to go to work tomorrow. Like all of those things reliving and then taking those aligned steps that I mentioned before, because those are the guide one by one to be able to push through out of depression more. And then when you do those things, it's celebrating the wins. Well, today I felt better. Again, that's the acknowledgement. Oh, today I feel actually better. Okay, so what did you do? Do it again tomorrow. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like do it again tomorrow, even if it's small
yeah.
things, but it's
Yeah.
to get you out of that funk, right? That I don't want to be here. I'm so sad and whatever. But it's trying to do little things at a time that can make you feel better. And it's changing the environment, changing the circumstances, and even on ourselves. Like, just go get a facial or something. I always talk about self care. Like, go get a facial because you're gonna feel better. And
You,
even for that moment, you're producing serotonin. And
yes,
you're not thinking about the fight that you had with your boyfriend or the stressed out job. You know what I mean? So those things help. And those are the little things. And at first, it's so hard because they're like tunnel vision. All they're looking, all they're thinking is the negative. So
yeah.
it's trying to pull them out little by little. And then doing little exercise, doing affirmations. I talk about that too. Like, what is God saying about you? God, like you love, he loves you. So go look at yourself in the mirror. I said, I look at yourself in the mirror and tell good things about yourself. Oh,
Mm,
but sometimes I don't even know what to say. Like, I don't feel like, well, you say it until, even if you don't believe it, because you're going to end up believing it. Like,
yes.
you tell yourself, like, you got
Yeah,
this today.
yeah.
You tell yourself, I got out of bed today. I went for a walk. I look good. Like, it's something, that
Yeah.
is going to get you out
Hmm.
of that. And then the more you're doing it, the more you're going to want to do it because it's making you feel good. Like then we become kind of like, I want that good feeling. And once you get to that state, you don't want to go back to the negative state. Like, you can have that fight with your boyfriend and you'll be like, not today, because I feel so good today.
Yes.
I look good today. And it's not going to let effect, but it is a process. Yeah, it is a process. But it's
Yes.
something that they have to take, and those are steps. And one of the things that hurt me always is that when they're not willing. So then we have to go even deeper. Like, why?
Yeah.
And that goes to the self. At that point, it's not the environment, it's not the self-conscious, it's more like, I feel that. So it's more doing inner work, and then scripture and affirmations and all of that, that gets you that vision of wanting to do something good for yourself so you can feel good, and
Yeah.
then tomorrow, and then the next day. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, folks, Angie just touched on something that Gabriella and I have shared with you, but I just want to remind you again that when she spoke about those good feeling hormones as opposed to flight, freeze, fight, it's really about the amygdala as opposed to the vagus nerve. And in our line of work, it is called, you either in the survival mode or you are in the executive mode. And it always pays off to stay in the executive mode, because that's when you are in control of everything, including whatever emotions come your way. You get the dopamine, you get the oxytocin, you get the serotonin, and everything becomes so much more balanced about life. But as Angie rightly say, you have to recognize that in the moment and not let the feeling define you. You are much more than the feeling, but it takes practice. And so, as you continue to do scriptures, the affirmations, and engage in those positive mindset and positive thoughts, eventually your brain is going to say, okay, let's do this instead. Yeah. So,
That's
thank you
right.
so much. Yeah. Awesome, Angie. Thank you. Gabriella, your turn.
You know what? I'm looking at why Angie. Angie, you could have come on to the seven, and it does. I have so much more questions because I love her vibes and we want so much more information. Um,
Go for it.
Who?
Let's
What
go.
other question do I have? Like, when it comes to persons that you would have coached, do you have any success stories? Persons that would have gleaned from your life experience. Could you share any success stories that you had?
Um, Actually, well, not to the level of me. Because again, I feel like God had put me to the extra level because I'm always extra like that. But again, it taught me the tools to help others in that way. So I do have a success story. There was this lady. Obviously, I won't say her name, but she was dealing with, again, the partner, and the circumstances at home wasn't okay, and she understood that she was the one feeling some type of way, like anything that the man would do, like she was just so she
Yeah,
knew, and then one of the things like, okay, so let's recognize this, like, how can you be a better person or feel better, not for him, don't even think about him, think about you, you're the one. So it was always trying to direct it back to her, like to ourselves, right?
yeah,
So then once we started reflecting, I told her, you make a list. Make a list of all the things that you like about yourself. Make a list of all the things that you don't like about yourself. And let's analyze these things. So once we went through this list, there were things that she saw. Oh, I got to change this. Okay. So how are we going to change this? And then just taking those steps. And let me tell you, that worked gratefully, because now her and her man, they're like, oh, lovey
yes,
dovey, posting pictures. And it also gave her more confidence because she was also struggling a lot of self confidence too. So again, just like that affirmations and the booster, like, you got this today. You can be a good girlfriend. You can be a good coworker, a good mother, like all of those things. And her saying it to herself, eventually she start doing those things. So it's not just saying it to say it, because now we walk on the things that we say, and it totally transformed. And it wasn't like overnight, because again, it takes time and it takes effort for one to want to do the work. But at the end of the goal, she's like, I want to do it because I know that my relationship is failing. I know that I'm not happy. So I need to do what I need to do. So I was like, girl, I got you. Let's do this. And
Yeah.
and it did work. So yeah.
awesome.
So this, yeah.
It
Wow.
reminded me of Rhonda, Andy,
All
when she
right.
did the list, the left and right, because it kind of equates to the brain, how the
Yeah.
brain
Yeah.
functions.
Yeah.
So with her equating the negative with the positive, it rewires her thinking, and so she became that person now positively thinking about herself. So thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Everybody just roped in and tied in somehow,
That's
but I
right.
love it.
Yeah. I'm just gonna beg Dexter for another 4 minutes. I should have said it before,
Yeah.
but Angie, I need to ask you this: your greatest achievement really is based on your relationship with God and Him bringing you through to a place where you recognize that all that you had been through was in preparation for the purpose you are currently filling in your life now. And I mean, that's amazing, right? Many people don't understand that. They don't get to that point. And so here's the thing. Um, if you had the opportunity to speak to the entire universe, just about 8 billion people, and you could tell them that one thing that would make a difference because of what God did for you, how would you summarize it? And you know, this is the very last thing that you could say to them. And it must be profound, it must be inspirational. What would you say to them?
I would say, oh my God, there's so many things I would say. Um, the best way that I can say is you don't have to die and
Hmm.
come back to life to
Hmm.
have this realization,
Wow.
right?
Yeah.
We can all have the connection to call God when we want to, and He's always inviting us to do so. So take that opportunity. Do that because your life will change. I promise you, it will change if you just let Him in and allow Him to do what He needs to do in your life. All the things will change.
Wonderful. That's beautiful. Yeah. On that note, we are about to wrap up, but Angie, we'd ask you to stick around for a minute. But no, he has one more video. We're gonna extend it because he says don't need to beg. It's all cool. So we're gonna play that video next, and then we to make some comments, and we'll wrap up.
Life feels ordinary. There's nothing special to be grateful for. How do I find gratitude? Sis, this is what we've been talking about. This is what we've been talking about. There's always something to be grateful for, even the small things. I want to highlight even just going outside and saying and breathing, today's going to be a good day. Thank God that I have a new day. Thank God that I have this. Thank you. Just go out and say thank you for everything. Thank you because I have a new day. Thank you because I have a shelter. Thank you because I have a car. Thank you because I have my house. Thank you because I have friends. Thank you everything. And if you don't have that, really look, really look. There's gonna be something. It doesn't have to be major. It can be the smallest thing. But once you say thank you, that you're grateful for that, even because the sun is out.
Wow. Yes, yes, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
The simple
Again,
things.
thank you because we have toilet paper. Yes,
Wow.
gratitude always is the number one. It takes us out of the lack mentality, what we don't have, because in reality, we are so blessed. If you really think about, and this is kind of taking away there, but if you really think about like the people that are really suffering, that are dying, that are homeless, that, they don't have arms or legs or, those type of things.
Yeah.
And if you look in that perspective, you will be grateful. Like, I have my arms, I have my legs, I'm healthy, I have this, I have that, and everything. You might not have this big thing that you want, because I want $1 million, but I don't have $1 million. But guess what? I'm grateful for the things that I have.
Yeah.
I'm grateful that I am alive. I'm grateful that God took away my drinking. I'm grateful that I have a fantastic fiance. I'm grateful that I have a church. I'm grateful that I have like you guys. Anything that you can look out and look at, you can find something, because there's people out there that unfortunately they don't have. So that bringing that back is like, we are very great. We should be very grateful for the
Mhm.
things, for the
Yeah,
big things, for the little things.
yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful. Gabriella, any last question there for her?
No, I just want her to come back again soon.
Yeah, we have to
But thank you so much, though, for being so open
yeah.
and vulnerable with your life. I really was blessed and, really gracious about the fact that gratitude is something that we really take for granted. And it's only when
Mhm.
persons come and they share, we realize, hey, yeah, yeah, the little things, even the very air. The fact that we could be talking at this moment and sharing, having this moment is something to be grateful for. So as you have reminded us to be grateful, I'm going to take that with me. And I hope that be an encouragement to those listening as well, that it doesn't matter what the circumstances, what the situation is, there's something to be grateful for. There's something there's a choice that you can make to come out of that situation. And so Angie's your message just now, just one more pause read, when you said that you do not have to die in order to be grateful and to really appreciate life, because yes, this was your testimony and you reached to that point, but we don't need to reach that point in order to really understand the depths of God's love and what and our purpose here on earth. So thank you for sharing that and for reminding us of our purpose. And for those listening, I really hope that they will really break out of depression and out of anxiety and addiction and everything that they may be struggling with, and know that there is a way out. So thank you so much.
Yeah. Angie, we thank you so much. You have been a ball of inspiration and
Yeah.
a breath of fresh air. So I know that Dex is going to want to say some things to you. So when we break off, don't go anywhere. You just hang in there. We just want to tell you folks, thank you so much for continue to support our program. Continue to pray for us and for people like Angie who come on and just make a world difference. Because this is what we're about. We are a community that cares. We want to inspire. We want to bring you information, experiences, knowledge, things that you can actually gain from. It's real. It's not a story. It's our lives that we are sharing with you. Okay. So, and all that you're doing, please continue to do all that you can to break out of depression. Godspeed. God bless. We love you. Until next time. Bye for now.
My
There ain't got no way, ain't got no way I'm gonna make it without my Lord. No, ain't got no way I'm gonna make it without my Lord. No. There ain't got no way, ain't got no way I'm gonna make it without my Lord. No, ain't got no way I'm gonna make it without my Lord. No.